Going live. Going live. Going live. I gotta keep going live. I love live streaming. It's so fun. And it's kind of cool, you know, I'm sending stuff to YouTube. YouTube's sending stuff to you. Let me get the link here and paste it in Discord. There it is. And I will close the window afterwards so we don't get echo. But I turn down the volume. And I will close the window afterwards so we don't get echo. But I turn down the volume. I will close the window afterwards so we don't get echo. But I turn down the volume. I will close the window afterwards so we don't get the ultra-low latency mode is working now. Close the window afterwards so we don't get the ultra-low latency mode is working now. Close the window there. So stuff. There is an openssl 111G that's masked for testing. So it's keyword masked. Unmask it with package.keywords. Give it a test on systems and see how it goes for you. That's the latest 1.1.1 release. And I need to, I don't know, I have to pronounce T-Sod. I don't know how to say your name. But he opened the issue requesting that openssl be autogened and hey Lucas. And you know, it's such a critical package. I don't want to have it bump automatically, but it is a little behind on Funtoo. We do want to stay on top of it. So I'm sort of exploring ideas like potentially having the autogen scripts just abort if there's a new version that it detects. So I'm forced to take a look at it, that kind of thing, and just sort of acknowledge there's a new version. Also, I wanted to correct some misinformation I shared on my last live stream where I did not have enough coffee to start the day. And also I had been out of Funtoo for a little bit, enough to like get confused about where I left off. So GNOME 3.36 at this point is looking pretty good. The state of the GNOME kit overlay is another issue. Because it is kind of messy, and I ranted a bit on Discord about just how much deferred maintenance is in there. And the biggest issue I see with the deferred maintenance is all of the package dependencies are weird. So if you look at the way GNOME kit is designed, the way GNOME was added to Gen 2, which we sort of inherited, is that there's the GNOME meta package, and then there's other GNOME meta packages like GNOME core libs, GNOME core apps, and all these packages do is depend on other packages. So it sort of creates this hierarchy of packages that are included. The thing that's weird is when you're upgrading from one version of GNOME to another version, when Portage calculates what to install when, if a dep isn't listed or isn't specific enough in one of those packages, it won't upgrade the dep first. So it may not be building against 3.36 versions of the libraries, for example. So that kind of sucks. That's not how it should work. So what I'm envisioning is adding some features to autogen so that we basically have a master list of versions of packages that it should use in the kit. And really it can get those lists of versions of packages that it should depend upon by looking at the other e-builds in the kit. It should depend on those versions. Because really when we're looking at installing GNOME, we're treating GNOME kit as sort of like this one entity that is, it's supposed to be used as a whole. So each component of GNOME should, if it depends on another component of GNOME, it should depend on the version of the e-build that's in the kit with it, for the most part. And yes, there are external dependencies that are in other kits. But if we do that, then when you upgrade GNOME, it's going to pull in the libs and upgrade the libs first, which is what we want. And it's not really doing that right now. And we address sort of the major failures that happen But the way the e-builds are set up now, where we're just sort of manually maintaining them in GNOME-kit, it's kind of a pain in the butt to maintain. There's a lot of manual work involved. And I know people are busy. They just want the latest version of GNOME. They send me pull requests that have updates to GNOME. But the thing is that we're not doing the maintenance. So I want to add some stuff to autogen that sort of supports the maintenance of these kinds of kits that are sort of self-contained, where they all kind of depend, they should be using their own stuff, right? So we want them, they're sort of like a unit, they're like a platform. We want to pull it in, and we want to have the dependencies upgraded in the proper order. And also, let's say there are external dependencies. We want to have them all be consistent. We don't want to have one package allow building against an older version of a library, and then it hits a package we actually maintained, and it's like, oh, we should have bumped this library. So midway through the upgrade, it upgrades that dependent library. So one piece of GNOME is built against one thing, and another piece is built against another thing. That's not good. So, but in any case, we do have an issue open for GNOME. And it should be pretty straightforward to switch to it now. It's FL7078. Let me switch windows here. So it's FL7078 here. And this talks about how Pipewire and SpiderMonkey need to get unmasked. This should have been already pushed to the tree. So really you just need to switch to the 3.36 prime branch and then upgrade, and you should have GNOME 3.36. And it's pretty smooth at this point. We're pretty close to just switching over to it. So GNOME 3.36 is this. The other thing that I got confused about is I talked about testing the new xorg-kit, and really what I ended up doing with xorg-kit is we had sort of a competing kit called xorg-kit, and we had some of the stuff in xorg-kit and some of it in xorg-kit, and that made it kind of a pain in the butt. So what I ended up doing is for the new, let me see if I can increase the font size here for people. The new xorg-kit, we're basically getting rid of it. So can I pick a font? Okay, we'll pick that font. We're basically getting rid of it, and we're just having xorg-kit, so all of the xorg stuff is going to be moving into xorg-kit. So for xorg-kit, I have a 2.0 release, and basically what I did is I copied all the stuff from xorg-kit in there. So testing this is a little tricky, because you need to basically disable xorg-kit and then put xorg-kit in for testing. It's a little complicated. I can give you some hints if you want to try it. So if you go to Etsy Portage, make the profile, there's a parent file, and you would need to ego sync and then remove any, like I've done here. There's no reference to xorg-kit in here. And then I also went to Etsy Portage, repos.conf, and you can see, oh, I have an ego xorg-kit here. So this actually enables the kit on your system. So you would rename this to xorg-kit, and then you'd point it to the xorg-kit path, and then you would actually need to clone xorg-kit from code.funtoo.org and put it on the 2.0 release branch. Actually, what's better than doing that is clone kit fix-ups. Kit fix-ups currently has all the stuff from xorg-kit in its 2.0 release directory. So it doesn't take it and combine it with stuff from Gen 2. I have everything in there. So you just clone kit fixups and point this to wherever kit fixups curated core-gl kit / 2.0 release is, and then it will grab it. And then you're going to get the latest Mesa, latest xorg, and you can test all that stuff. One thing to be aware of is it's working for me, it's working very well, but it is pulling in, I have Intel video on this system, it's pulling in XF86 video Intel, which is considered deprecated sort of for older systems, and the newer stuff is supported by Intel Iris. The Intel Iris stuff is built into Mesa, and if you just use the basic mode setting driver, which is just available, you don't really need to install anything Intel specific for that. It will use Iris with I think Skylake and later, if I understand correctly, and it's a lot faster. So what you want to do, if you upgrade to this, you're going to see that it's going to keep in, if you have Intel, it's going to keep in pulling in XF86 video Intel, and if it gets installed, it's going to use that older driver. So just if you see it in there, exclude it or remove it, and then check your xorg logs and make sure that it is loading up the Iris stuff and not the other stuff. And it can be tricky because I looked in the xorg logs and I had both installed and it looked like it was using Iris, but it definitely wasn't. It was slower. Even though it said Iris, it will use XF86 video Intel if it's there, from what I can tell. So that's something else that needs some testing. And did I share the wrong window here? I might have shared the wrong window. Let me go over to, was I gonna do my browser here? I'll just go over to Discord for now. All right, I'm back. Let me check any comments that have come up. Hey everybody, I'm looking at my live chat comments. Hello Tregotech. I'm sorry if the mic is a little low. I will bump it up a little. So those are the things that are sort of going on with testing. We have openssl, we have GNOME Kit 3.36, we have core-gl-kit, which needs a little bit more work related to Intel drivers, but otherwise has been a pretty smooth upgrade. The fact that xorg-kit is going away, it's going to be completely replaced with core-gl-kit soon. And I think I can just tweak that in 1.4 so it just sort of happens automatically. I need to test that a bit more once the mix-ins are fixed for Intel. What else? There's been really good talk lately in the channel. One of the things I put out there is, you know, we looked at all of the Python stuff that Gen 2 has been doing, and they sort of like shot themselves in the foot with they've been sort of, the story of Python on Gen 2 is sort of like a tale of two cities. It's like the best of times and the worst of times. In one sense, they have really good Python support, and in another sense, they do so many things ass backwards that it's a huge maintenance nightmare and a pain for developers and users. So the E-classes are kind of a pain in the butt, and one of the things that we've done to try to address the issue is use autogen, so auto-generate as many Python modules as we can, and we're currently in the process of trying to convert as much of Python modules kit over to auto-generation. So that means it's going to hit PyPy, which is the Python package repository, and automatically update e-builds for us so that we don't have to manually bump them and let them go stale, and sort of do what we've typically done on Funtoo, which is do a snapshot of Gen 2 and then it sort of goes stale over time. We have to take another snapshot. Well, it would be nice if we don't have to re-snapshot Gen 2 and we can just hard fork. But then the question arises, if we do a hard fork of Gen 2, are we then supporting 20,000 packages? Because that's how many packages are in Gen 2. And it's a lot of packages. And do we want to sign up for that? In some sense, that's how Gen 2 gets its gravitas, right? They actually attempt to maintain 20,000 packages. When you think about it, it's kind of stupid. That's a lot of packages. They're trying to be everything to everybody. So I propose this idea, like, I have limited time. We can autogen quite a bit of stuff, but do we want to maintain 20,000 packages? And I think the answer in Discord was no. That's kind of dumb. There's a lot of rando packages in Gen 2, some that aren't even necessary. Like ClipKyle pointed out that there's like 200 Emacs plugins in eBuilds for Emacs plugins. So no other packages depend on those Emacs plugins. And Emacs has its own package repository and package manager that Emacs users can use. So why is Gen 2 trying to duplicate all that functionality? It's not to help other packages install. Like, I could understand it, like a lot of times a Python module is needed by some software, right? So we kind of need to have emerge have the ability to pull in that Python module so that software can work. So that's the justification for putting Python modules in Portage. So it's basically to support an application that people want to use. But you know, if it's just an editor plugin, it's just for convenience, I guess, to have the eBuild. And if there's another alternative that works just fine for Emacs users, then you know, you don't want to turn eBuilds into a religion. So, like, could we cut the size of packages we maintain down? And I think the answer is yeah, we can. And we could maybe cut it to 2,000 or 3,000 packages. Like, I don't have a lot of packages installed on my system. I'm not trying to do all the things. And really, Funtoo is there to be used by the users. Like, it's our distro to support us. So, like, that's why I want people, like, not just say bump this package on the bug tracker, but say, like, why the package is important to them. Because it's supposed to be about us and what we use Funtoo for. So, yeah, we could really reduce the number of packages we maintain. And the phrase I sort of promoted to summarize this effort is trim the beard. Trim the beard because I think of that, it's like an internet meme showing the different lengths of beards depending on what distro you're using. And Gen 2 is, like, I think right before Linux from scratch with a long beard. And I know Kofnix or some other guys made one with Funtoo having an even longer beard. But the idea is, you know, why are we trying to maintain this unkempt beard? What is the point of it? Why are we doing it? And can we make our goal of maintenance more achievable by scaling things back? You know, we want to tackle the maintenance problem, but we don't want to have it be this unbound mess. And by doing so, just make it just this untenable issue. So I'm really actually excited about that and scaling it back to support just what we need and define what that is. And right now, I think the focus, Funtoo has always had a focus of production server. That's always going to be there. That is a key part of what we want to support. We want to have a stable production server. And then we also want to have a very capable developer desktop. And that's different from just general desktop. General desktop is like, ooh, we want to be like Windows, or we want to offer, you know, a Mac-like experience or an easy-to-use experience for a random person. That's not what I care about. But I have to have a desktop working to do the development, to be productive, to run browsers, to run IDEs. So we're looking at a desktop sort of from the perspective of a productive developer desktop. You're actually doing stuff with your computer. You're somewhat technical. We don't want to get rid of GNOME. I want to have a modern, a desktop environment with modern amenities like GNOME. I think that's important. I don't want to just give you a tiling window manager and assume you're going to be okay with that. I wouldn't be okay with that. I like the GNOME experience is good. But I want to offer those desktops, and then the set of packages that we feel, the desktop packages that we feel we need, and that's it. And scale back what we're trying to do, and see what e-builds we can just get rid of, like the Emacs plugins. We don't really need those. So then potentially we have some maintenance that is manageable. And then if we factor in auto generation, and we can auto generate a lot of those, then then we can actually focus on where I want to focus on is tools creation and innovating and rewriting portage. And I can never get to it because I'm always maintaining the e-builds, because that turns into I'm maintaining 20,000 e-builds. It's ridiculous. So we need to scale back in one area so we can be more ambitious in another area. So those are my thoughts. I think my camera has a 30-minute record limit right now because it's just a Casio thing, or a Canon thing, not Casio. So I gotta go soon. But there's my update, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.